all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business.
Good morning to everyone, and thanks for tuning in to Bloomberg Quint. I am Hormas Fatakia, here to tell you all that you need to know on the 10th of March. First up, the Thane Municipal Corporation has imposed a lockdown in 16 COVID hotspots until the 31st of March in view of the rising coronavirus cases. A Janta curfew will also be imposed in Jalgaon starting 8 p.m. on Thursday, which is the 11th of March, until 8 a.m. on Monday, which is the 15th of March. Mumbai reported over 1,000 new cases as of 6 p.m. on Tuesday, with the death toll falling to just 2. On the vaccination front, over 2.4 crore vaccine doses have now been administered, with over 10 lakh vaccinations taking place as on Tuesday. India intends to acquire 30 armed drones from the US in order to boost its sea and land defenses. Officials with knowledge of the matter told Bloomberg that India will approve the purchase of MQ-9B Predator drones manufactured by San Diego-based General Atomics next month. The deal is touted to be worth $3 billion. The Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, or TRAI, on Tuesday suspended the newly implemented norms for commercial text messages for a period of 1 week. The regulator has cited disruptions in SMS and OTP deliveries for banking, payment and other transactions as the reason behind the temporary suspension. A statement from TRAI said that the move will enable principal entities to register the SMS template so that no inconvenience is faced by the customers. The government has objected to UK parliamentarians discussing the 3 farm laws introduced by the central government. The British High Commissioner was summoned on Tuesday by the External Affairs Ministry and was told that the discussions represented a gross interference in India's affairs. The statement from the External Affairs Ministry also called on the British MPs to refrain from practicing vote bank politics by misrepresenting events. Godrej Properties has launched a share sale to institutional investors in order to raise funds. The company has fixed a floor price of 1,513 rupees per share, which is at a premium of over 3% to Tuesday's closing price. Bloomberg reports that the company plans to sell as many as 2.6 crore shares. The board will meet again on the 15th of March to determine the issue price for the QIP and other details. Another company that has launched an institutional share sale is AU Small Finance Bank. The company has fixed a floor price of 1,181 rupees per share, which is at a discount of 4.5% to Tuesday's closing price. The company's board in May of last year had approved raising a sum of 2,500 crore rupees through QIPs and other methods. Sources have told Bloomberg Quint that the lender looks to raise up to 600 to 700 crore rupees through this issue. In a separate exchange filing, the lender has stated that its whole-time director Uttam Tibrewal has expressed intentions to sell up to 10 lakh shares of the bank held by him to meet his personal commitments. The IPO of Easy Trip Planners was subscribed over 7 times as bidding closed on the second day. Institutional investors, which stayed away from the issue on the first day, showed some interest, with their portion being subscribed 28%. The non-institutional portion, which also saw negligible subscription on the first day, was subscribed over 4 times, while the retail investors continued to bet on the issue, with their portion getting over 32 times the demand as compared to the shares on offer. In international news, a group of hackers said that they have breached a massive trove of security camera data collected by Silicon Valley startup Verkada, gaining live access to 1.5 lakh surveillance cameras inside schools, hospitals, prisons, and police departments as well. Companies whose video footage was made public include Tesla and software provider Cloudflare. Hackers said that they have obtained access to 222 cameras inside Tesla's factories and warehouses. Oil prices are now down over 3% in the last 2 sessions after an industry report pointed to a third weekly increase in US stockpiles. Data from the American Petroleum Institute showed that crude inventories expanded by nearly 13 million barrels last week, according to people familiar with the matter. Official government data will be out later tonight. With that, I head across to Neeraj Shah for the trade setup of the day. Morning, Neeraj. It was a smart reversal yesterday, courtesy the HDFC Twins and ICICI Bank, while PSUs had a forgettable day. How are we set up for today?
Well, yes, PSUs were flat yesterday, but that could just be a day's movement. Let's talk about that in a bit. First up, it'll be interesting to see what we do today simply because of the move that NASDAQ has had, right? I mean, 3.6%, best day in 4 months. Tesla bouncing back 20%, Bitcoin having a bit of a rally. So everything tech did well. And I think that will be the order of the day today. We are anyways in this web of global sentiment, gyrating to global moves. And because tech has rebounded yesterday, with everything from, as I said, Tesla to Apple doing well, it will do well. I mean, we will do well. I mean, while this was expected, it came rather swiftly because just on Monday, the Nasdaq had shed 2.4% to close more than 10% below its Feb 12 high and therefore falling into corrective territory. Now, this shows that even trends are getting reworked very, very swiftly and how difficult it is for traders to really trade. So many people might have actually taken short positions there only to see it rebound very, very swiftly. Now, yesterday for our markets, we had lost a bit of a mojo at the mid-cap end, but large caps and banks were largely okay. And we might probably see continuation of the move today. And with tech bouncing back so strongly in the US, you might have a case of tech companies doing even better than what they did yesterday. Remember, in the last 1 hour of trade yesterday, it was banks and technology which led the markets higher. Tech companies actually did pretty well yesterday. So it'll be interesting to see what they do today. And you spoke about PSUs being laggards, or Hormuz spoke about the PSUs being laggards, but PSU space is red hot. Yes, the top 5 laggards were PSUs yesterday, but I think they'll bounce back very, very shortly because its space is pretty hot right now. You might see a small shift in specialty chemicals as 2 very good IPOs hit the street in a few days, and the QIP boys might be reactions today. But largely, with the world markets doing so well, you might expect that the day would be good for some of the Asian bourses as well. Even if they would largely trade flat, it wouldn't be a bad outcome. Godrej Properties, by the way, speaking of QIPs, launched that QIP, and I think the reason why Godrej Properties is important is because if this QIP does well, which incidentally is at a premium, then it's a precursor for some of the other real estate names. I hear a bunch of them wanting to launch their own fundraisers. So let's wait and watch how the Godrej Properties fundraise goes. And lastly, just a bit of a plug. I would urge some of you to try and read a note by brokerage house Motilal Oswal, wherein they have assessed the sectoral impact of the raw material price hikes. Remember, the margin impact would be the most important thing to see in quarter 4. Should you not have access to the report, try and log into our research reports section on Bloomberg Quint website, and you'll be able to read that report and many others, of course. All in all, US has done very well. Let's see if we follow suit and if Asia plays ball as well. It'll be an interesting day of trade. It's the expiry of sorts, weekly expiry, simply because tomorrow is a holiday. So it promises to be a more active day than most Wednesdays. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great day ahead.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you could listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma, or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.